Never talk to an underage kid ever again.
You won't leave me alone. Both of them.
15-year-old boy! He came here to be a 15-year-old boy!
Excuse me, everybody. This man is here to be a 14-year-old girl.
I am not. I'm here to see.
Oh, excuse me, everybody.
So I'm sure you've seen the swarm of predator hunting content that's been going viral recently. Videos of YouTubers or kick streamers serving justice by hunting down predators and beating them up on camera pretty much. And I'm sure that no one would disagree that these people deserve absolute zero sympathy and should be prosecuted by the law to the fullest extent. And two of the main issues I have with this style of content is one, some, if not all of these predators that are getting, caught on camera never actually get convicted. And two, some of the people making this content might have some sort of ulterior motive behind it. First, let's look at DAP, Dads Against Predators, someone that I've been following for a while, and I also made an older video on, a long time ago. Do not go watch that video. It's terrible compared to the videos now. Again, I've been following them for a while and, I know a lot about them. To sum things up, DAP, or Dads Against Predators, was started by Jay Karnikoff and Joshua Mundy, two dads who are, like the name says, are against predators. And what they're famous for is, how can I say this? Giving predators hands to catch, essentially. And from what I can tell, this kind of started the whole violent hunt against predators in the way that we see people like Vitaly do it, someone who we're going to talk about later. But TLDR, DAP has pretty much just been giving hands out to predators for a long time now. And this mission does come from a good place, obviously being fathers, they want to protect their children, but also want to protect other people's children. And obviously I support their mission, getting these monsters held accountable for their actions. This is literally a dream come true. We get to see justice literally handed out to these monsters, and they get arrested and charged and get put on the SO registry for the rest of their life, meaning that they're never going to escape their actions. But like most things, it is a little bit too good to be true. In an interview with Vice they did a long time ago, Josh explains kind of how they pretend to be children online to lure predators in into catching them in the act.
Yeah, so basically this guy, he wants me to send a picture with 3 fingers up. Nice 30-year-old young handsome man. And we're gonna come here and bada boom, bada bing. So we'll send this to him. We are in business.
Similar to productions like To Catch a Predator with Chris Hansen. But in Ohio, where DAP operates, Ohio's revised code on the ohio.gov website, section 2907.07, states that no person shall solicit another by means of a telecommunications device as defined in section 291301 of the revised code to engage in sexual activity with an offender when the offender is 18 years of age or older and either of the following applies. 1. The other person is 13 years of age or older, but less than 16 years of age. The offender knows that the other person is 13 years of age or older, but less than 16 years of age or is reckless in that regard. And the offender is 4 or more years older than the other person. 2. The other person is a law enforcement officer posing as a person who is 13 years of age or older, but less than 16 years of age. The offender believes the other person is 13 years of age or older, but less than 16 years of age or is reckless in that regard. And the offender is 4 or more years older than the age of the law enforcement officer, assumes in posing as the person who is 13 years of age or older, but less than 16 years of age. So by doing what they're doing, DAP is essentially ruining any chance of getting these preds, locked up and charged with any actual charges that'll ruin the rest of their life. I mean, even in the Vice video, the chief of the online communications from the Ohio Police Department says this.
My understanding is that Dads Against Predators is what we would consider a vigilante group. I think the most problematic part of what Dads Against Predators is doing is just the fact that they're identifying individuals who may very well potentially be good law enforcement targets. These are probably offenders that we should be paying attention to, but by the time we are made aware of them, it's too late for us to get involved. And these offenders are left to YouTube and to go about their normal lives once the notoriety of that video subsides.
And again, one of the reasons that getting these people arrested and charged is so important is because then they're put on the SO registry, meaning that all of their public information, where they live, their aliases, anything about them is available for anyone to see for the rest of their life. I mean, literally every single piece of information. You could literally hunt these people down because all of their information is just online, which isn't a bad thing. I think that's great. I mean, look, here's just some of the predators in my area. You can see how much information is on these people. And I'm sure that anyone would agree that the point of these videos, or even just catching predators in general, is to get them caught and charged. Anything after that is just for our entertainment, which is what these videos are. But when you take away the part of the predators getting charged and arrested, what are you left with? Just your entertainment, our entertainment. So if the predators that organizations like DAP are catching aren't actually getting charged with anything, we're just left with entertainment for us to, laugh at, I guess. I mean, who really does that benefit? That only benefits us, the people watching the videos, getting a little dopamine spike seeing a bad guy get what they deserve on camera. This doesn't help the victims, and this doesn't help any future victims. And I say future victims with heavy emphasis because in a SOMAPI 2015 research paper, they found that 4,295 child predators that they studied, similar to the pattern for rapists, child molesters with more than one prior arrest had an overall recidivism rate of nearly double, 44.3% compared to 23.3%. As might be expected, child molesters were more likely than any other type of offender, sexual or non-sexual, to be arrested for a sex crime against a child following a release from prison. Meaning that these monsters that prey on children that DAP are catching are probably just going to reoffend, especially if they're not caught. They're just going to be more careful about it next time. And the reason that they need to be caught is because at the very least, they're going to be put on the registry, and wherever they move, their neighbors will be notified of the monster that's living near them. Meaning that as much as DAP wants to help, their actions are kind of making it redundant. By the way, Megan's Law requires law enforcement to notify any neighborhood in any state in the United States that a predator moves into to notify the neighbors that they are living there now. It also goes on your permanent record, obviously, so when you try to do a background check for a job, you're going to fail, meaning that it's going to be harder to find a job, and anywhere you go, no one's going to like you. Something that's not going to happen if there's just a video out there with some guy beating you up on the internet that maybe 100,000 people saw that don't even live in the same area as you. On top of that, people can change their appearance relatively easily. Grow a beard, grow out their hair, wear glasses, get some tattoos, look like a completely different person, and no one will know of the monster that they secretly are. Now let me make a point that I've heard argued a whole bunch of times. I understand that the justice system is very flawed in actually getting justice for the victims, especially for these people. I mean, in California, the max time you can do is only 3 years for your first offense and 6 if it's your second. And that's definitely not enough, and I can agree with that. But what's even worse is that these monsters are able to walk free without any real repercussions just because some guy wanted to beat them up online. But the problem that I have with people like DAP is no matter how good their intentions are, they just end up hurting the people that they're trying to save. Not only that, a recent DAP encounter actually led to a firearm being discharged inside of a target and hitting one of them in the leg.
Since the wound is closed now.
I mean, they say there's a bullet in there somewhere in this. I don't know how much I can go into just based on the case being open, but I was shot, and we defended ourselves, and so we just did what we could to get out alive.
Now, that could have hit them in a serious artery or literally anywhere else that could have, ended in the loss of their life. Not only that, a bystander could have been hit with a stray bullet and, you would have ended up hurting 2 people. Luckily, Jay did make a full recovery, and I'm obviously very thankful for that. And it seems like now that he's doing okay. Also, side note, sorry, but I was watching The Sopranos earlier this week.
About that prick's face when he saw the gat. About that prick's face when he saw the gat.
About that prick's face when he saw the gat.
And I saw a scene that perfectly encapsulates what I'm trying to say here, if it's just not making sense to you. So Artie, the chef character from The Sopranos, if you haven't seen it, finds out that a coach actually essayed one of the girls in his community. And just like all of us, gets super upset and wants to take justice into his own hands until his wife says this.
Who's worse, Tony Soprano or that child? I trusted him. I'd like to rip his heart out of his chest.
Jesus Christ, Ulterior, I cannot believe you only think about yourself.
But then he realizes something. And when Tony makes the point that I've heard argued over and over and over again, Artie puts it perfectly.
I hate the guy too. You wanna call the cops? Hey, here's the phone. They'll arrest him, right? They got him 2 years, and they'll move up to Saskatchewan, and then you know what they'll do? They'll teach girls soccer, and they'll start all over again. You don't think I wanna rip him apart like a chicken? I drove by his house. I almost got out. Something happens to him, who's it gonna help, huh? His daughter? That girl? No, you, Tony, and Silvio, and me, and whoever. It's just gonna make us feel better. Don't even think about calling this justice.
Now again, let me make this clear. I am in no way defending these predators at all. I think that they deserve worse than hell. But what I'm trying to say is this is not the way to do it. Taking justice into your own hands and getting justice again only for you. This doesn't help the victim or any future victims. It only makes you feel good. Even if you have good intentions like DAP, I know that they do, all it does is make a good video for clicks and money and does almost nothing to help victims. And again, someone that I mentioned in an older video, Anxiety, where someone that I held in high regards because of his work with law enforcement and actually getting these predators arrested, actually did mess up one time, leading to a predator just getting away because of the vigilante style way of trying to get justice. Meaning that even someone who I hold to high regards still mess up sometimes, so clearly this is not the way to do it. If this can even happen, The fact that people are letting these predators get away honestly makes them just as bad as the predators. They're enabling them. So what about the people that I mentioned earlier that are not just doing it out of the kindness of their hearts, but doing it for some underlying reason? Well, I'm sure you've seen this viral clip going around of this guy getting pretty much pushed into a building and the whole thing kind of coming down on him and even getting knocked to the ground during this sting operation. But the difference between this video and all the other videos is that in this video, you can really tell that this guy is on the autism spectrum.
No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. Leave me alone. Bro. Leave me alone.
You ever gonna be able to?
No, ever.
Why'd you do it today?
I don't know.
Now that doesn't mean that this guy should be treated any different than any other predator. He should still be charged to the full extent of the law because he's a monster just like any of these other monsters are. But the difference here is that this is obviously an easier target for these people. As you can see, he's not really fighting back, as a lot of the other predators do actually end up fighting back, leading me to believe that they just rather have someone to bully and assault rather than actually get justice for the victims that may have been hurt or may be hurt in the future. Especially because they're doing this to predators. I mean, who's going to defend a predator? Now again, let me make this clear. I am in no way defending these monsters. Please do not get that from this video. If evidence is shown, I think that these people again should be treated like garbage and, charged to the full extent of the law. But what I'm saying is these people could care less if these people are monsters or not. They're just using that as a shield to be able to bully and harass people online for internet clout, I guess. I don't know. And what's ironic is that a lot of these people that are enjoying this type of content, when people like Dr. Disrespect or their favorite content creator comes out that they were talking to minors, they seem to be, for a little forgetful of the kind of content that they enjoy. Because online, a lot of people have a very black and white view of the world, and when they see the bad guy getting beat up, like in their superhero movies, they go, yes, good job, I like you. I don't care what any underlying motive that you have for this is, I just see a bad guy getting beat up on my timeline and I click like. And who's more thirsty for internet clout than washed up YouTube pranksters who are trying to cover up something really terrible they did a couple years ago, and terrible rappers who have lost their 15 minutes of fame and are just looking for something to cling to stay in the spotlight? Well, that description would fit no other than Vitaly's.
Nobody expected to see me here. But what about my soft dick, huh? Oh, you think I'm kidding?
Someone who's been doing these to catch predator streams for a while now. Acid reflux! But archive, these streams have led to these people actually getting arrested and charged. Isn't that what you want? Well, yeah, that is true, but let's go ahead and take a look at what they're doing on these streams. Spray painting a man's head, appearing to shave the head of one of the predators. And throwing flashbangs at them.
Oh my god, what the f is that?
So you can see that obviously they're trying to make this stream fun. For whatever reason, even though the underlying context is that these people are monsters who are genuinely trying to hurt children. I don't know why you would want to make a stream like that fun. Now, why would Vitaly, a washed up YouTube prankster who fell off hard, want to garner more positive attention for himself? Is there a possibility that maybe there was some bad attention recently that was brought to Vitaly? Like, I don't know, maybe he attacked some lady off of 6 grams of portobello mushrooms one time. But I mean, who knows? Maybe he's just doing this out of the kindness of his heart. Also, let's go ahead and take a look at who he had on these streams. Oh, look, it's Ryan Garcia, a really stand-up guy when it comes to communicating with the mother of his children. Gosh, the house is looking real clean. Thanks, Ryan. And oh, look, Aiden Ross, someone who showed his thousands of underage fans corn on live. So yeah, I'm sure Aiden really cares about what children get exposed to or not. Now, I'd like to end this video with looking at a couple of examples of predator hunters who have literally hurt other people or even used children in an exploitative way, the children that they've sworn to protect. One of the channels that was a big perpetrator of this was Chet Goldstein, who's still doing videos to this day despite this information that I'm about to tell you. You might remember Chet Goldstein from the EDP video way back in the day where, EDP wanted to come up and meet up for a cupcake from this 12-year-old girl.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home.
But it came out that almost immediately after that viral video, Chet had a history about making some weird comments about kids online.
I have a 3-year-old in my basement that's like lacking vitamin D. I need to give this to her. It's my birthday, so I'm being generous for one day to her. I'll provide her with plenty of D, just not the vitamin part.
As well as using actual minors for a sting operation, something that's, highly illegal, putting children in harm's way just to make your stupid video.
That piece of cloth on your upper body? From your hip to your neck, the shirt. Yeah. Take it off. Cause they ask for. Yeah. Predators ask for a lot of pictures, man. They're sick. Go ahead, take off your shirt. Okay, so I'll be honest about the decoy pics. So one of the decoy pics, the Hispanic boy that we use, that's my cameraman's little cousin. And the white decoy that we use, he's 17. And yeah, I met him on PS4. We're playing Madden together. And he said he was down to do it. So Yeah, that's where I get the decoy pictures from.
How old is the Latin guy, the kid?
He is 16.
So you have 2 minors that you use as decoys.
Yes, and their parents both know.
There was also a time when Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman were creating their show Predator DC, that according to The Verge, let an adult who was posing as a minor literally get assaulted on camera just to get the perfect shot. The results, according to Spielman, Sirius, and Beatty, were horrific. Men kissed or hugged Sirius, who was afraid to break character while trying to fend them off. Sirius says that security guards had been told to hang back instead of defending her, intervening only once she'd managed to leave the scene, and other crew members confirmed that she was left without personal protection around targets. The team called the police on the worst offenders, including the men who grabbed her, but they didn't make changes that could have protected her as the show went on. They did nothing, she says. They didn't care. Spielman says nothing comparable happened in previous seasons. It's not clear whether that's because the team was better equipped to protect their actors. This season's targets, she says, were unusually aggressive, but she acknowledges that the team should have kept a closer security detail on Sirius. She should have been protected as soon as they opened that door, she says. There should have been security right there with her. So after taking a good hard look at these predator hunters, it seems that some of them are just doing more harm than good. But with just a slap of the wrist of sentencing for these monsters in most places, I totally get that that's not enough, and to these people more needs to be done, which it does. And their answer to that is taking matters into their own hands, but that still doesn't fix the issue that we're having here. That even lets some bad actors who just want to bully and harass people use hunting predators as a shield to just be terrible people online. What I'd like to see is changes to these laws to help keep predators off of the streets. And even if communities like DAP do want to help, I want to see them be able to work with law enforcement for now to do the bare minimum and get these monsters put on a list that will follow them for the rest of their lives. Anyways, that's about it. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now. I was going to do the Mr. Beast, the fall of Mr. Beast video, but this kind of took priority. Anyway, thanks for watching. Love you. Goodbye. Stop diddling kids. Thanks.